Litvinenko. It's facing calls from the Tory party to reassure Russian dissidents about their safety in Britain. The Shadow Defence Secretary, Dr. Fox, said it was quite unacceptable for any UK citizen to be murdered inside our own country. Anti-terror officers are due to fly to Moscow and Rome this week as part of their investigation into the radioactive poisoning. Sky's Birchley has the latest.
Boarded up, the sushi bar in London's Piccadilly, where radioactive material was found, the same deadly substance that killed Alexander Litvinenko. Police have finished their search of the premises and the process of decontamination can now begin. But officers are still busy at the Millennium Hotel in Grosvenor Square, where polonium-210 was also discovered. As the investigation into the former Russian spy's death continues, the political debate is gaining momentum. The Conservatives demanding that a statement be made in the House of Commons, updating Parliament on exactly what the government knows.
We have an example of someone being poisoned in our own country. Clearly he believed that this was as a result of what the Russian authorities were doing. Now, time will tell exactly who was responsible for all of this, but we clearly need to reassure dissidents who are in the United Kingdom that we will give them every protection. It's quite unacceptable that any UK citizen should be murdered inside our own country.
Mr. Fox also accused President Putin's administration of using oil and gas as a political weapon and urged NATO to intervene. The government itself admitted today that relations with Russia were strained.
The promise that President Putin had brought to Russia when he came to power has obviously been clouded by what's happened since, and including some extremely murky murders of the senior Russian journalist, one of their top journalists, and there's lots of things been happening in Russia which actually cast a cloud over President Putin's success in binding the place together.
President Putin has repeatedly denied any involvement in Mr. Litvinenko's death, a spokesman describing the allegation as sheer nonsense. Today, a member of Russia's parliament told Sky News he believed police investigations here in the UK would confirm that.
I have no reasons not to trust what Putin said. And finally, I do not, frankly, think that it has any trace to Russian authorities.
Police are said to believe it's still too early to conclude that Mr. Litvinenko was murdered.
They have gone as far as saying no more than this is a suspicious death that they are investigating, and they have ruled out no option. Then there is the question of reassurance of the public about the health dimension of this, and we've tried to make sure that the Health Protection Agency is putting as much information in the public domain as we know.
The number of people who have called NHS Direct fearing they were at risk is said to be in the hundreds. They're anxiously waiting to hear if they'll need further tests. Birchley, Sky News.